Hi there, and thank you very much for joining us for our latest instalment here at Railbookers. Today, looking at all things Switzerland. So, thanks very much for taking the time to tune in and join me. My name is Anna Davis. I'm the marketing manager here at Railbookers, and I'll be your host for our time together today whilst we look at some fantastic Swiss rail itineraries for you to consider for 2023 and 2024. Before we delve into all things Switzerland, just a very brief slide here to mention a few things that we'll talk about as the presentation progresses, but a few key takeaways for you. Our holidays are for independent travellers, so you won't be travelling as part of a group or escorted with a tour leader, so that you really have the opportunity to explore these destinations independently, but also create a holiday that is truly yours with everything in it that you want and nothing in it that you don't. So we do create the whole holiday offer, not just the rail journeys, of course, but hotel accommodation, sightseeing, excursions, transfers, and you do have a huge amount of choice and flexibility within the trip. For example, whether that's a 3 or 4, 5-star hotel, whether you'd like to upgrade the train to first class as well. Lots of options really to tailor the trip to you. And again, you can book that all the way through to 2024, as far as October 2024 at the moment. So do bear that in mind as we go through the holidays that I'm excited to share with you today. You should also see on the console a Switzerland by rail map, which you can download and just have a look at some of the key destinations and the scenic routes that are involved between those cities, just really highlighting some of the main destinations that we feature in Switzerland, a real classic key destination for Railbookers holidays, and of course hard to imagine a destination that lends itself better to exploring by train than Switzerland. So without further ado, let's delve in to 3 holidays that I have to share with you today that will hopefully give you a really good insight into the options that are available, what you can do within Switzerland by train, and yeah, just highlight some fantastic scenic journeys that are available on a huge range of trips at Railbookers. And on the screen, or the console as you're looking at it, on the right-hand side, you should see some links to the Railbookers website. Please do take a look there for hundreds of our Switzerland destination holidays, from 3, 4 nights all the way through to longer 12-night itineraries and more. So lots of ideas there for you. So let's start with one of our most popular, perennially popular trips, and this is our Switzerland's Lakes and Mountains holiday. It's a 6-day itinerary with prices starting from £1,579 per person. And if you're looking to incorporate some of the real scenic journey highlights in one short trip, then this is certainly one to consider. That said, if you'd like to extend your stay and add additional nights in any of the destinations, we can of course do that. So this one is based on traveling into Geneva and back out of Zurich, as you can see on the map there. A couple of options for you to do that. You can fly into Geneva and fly out of Zurich with the rail in between, of course, or equally very, very easy to do this trip as a return by rail. So we can book from any local UK station from your local regional departure point to take you to St Pancras, to then join the Eurostar to Paris and connect in Paris from the Gare du Nord to the Gare de Lyon to travel directly to Geneva. Depending on where you're based in the UK, that may require an overnight in London, so that you are in London ready to travel on the Eurostar fairly early the following morning. But again, lots of options there. You could also choose to rail to Geneva and then fly home from Zurich. That's often quite a popular combination as well. So again, lots of choice to bear in mind. However you choose to reach Geneva, you will then travel on to Montreux, and you'll be in Montreux for your first night, beautiful lakeside resort there. And the following morning, you'll embark on the first of your main scenic journeys, and that is firstly on the Golden Pass line, which basically takes you from Montreux through to Interlaken. You will have 2 nights in Interlaken, a great base really in central Switzerland there, right in the middle, where you will have an excursion on the JUNGFRAUJOCH railway, taking you to the highest European railway station. And then after your 2 nights stay in Interlaken, you'll travel down to Brig on a normal sort of scheduled train service to join the Glacier Express. Now, the Glacier Express in its entirety arguably in sort of the top 3 most scenic railway journeys in the world, that travels its full length from Zermatt to St. Moritz. On this particular journey, you're traveling on part of that from Brig to Chur. You'll have 2 nights in Chur, the oldest town in Switzerland, before then the following day traveling on the Bernina Express. So that is taking you from St. Moritz to Tirano and back again, just a little trip over the border into Italy before coming back on the return journey to St. Moritz. So really taking in 3 iconic European scenic trains there in the Golden Pass, Glacier Express and Bernina, with a day trip on the Jungfraujoch as well. So let's just have a brief look at some of those destinations. So as I mentioned, you will start in Montreux, have a night there with a lakeside positioned hotel, beautiful resort to start your journey, and often a place that customers choose to add an additional night. There's some fantastic vineyard sightseeing that we can arrange for you in the local area, as well as the beautiful Chateau de Chillon very close by, where you can visit and enjoy a few hours there. So do consider staying in Montreux for slightly longer, because there is lots to explore in the area, beyond, of course, the famous jazz festival in July. Now then, from Montreux, you will embark on the Golden Pass, which takes you on a route rising above Lake Geneva with some fantastic views over the Swiss Riviera. At its highest point, it's reaching just over 1,200 meters, before then snaking its way through the Simmer Valley and traveling between Lake Thun and Lake Brinz to reach Interlaken for your second stay there. As I say, you're there for 2 nights in Interlaken. Again, beautifully located, as its name suggests, in between those lakes, with fantastic views all around. And it's a great place as a base for many, many additional visits, you know, up to Wengen, up to Grindelwald, up to Murren from there. There are lots of options for you to extend your stay and do additional sightseeing. However, on this trip from Interlaken, you will, the following day, be taking the Jungfraujoch Railway, which will take you to the highest altitude railway station in Europe at a huge 11,332 feet high. It will take you through Kleine Scheidegg before reaching the station at Eiger Glacier to finish the journey up to the top, and spectacular views from there, if it's clear, of course, but you should see as far as the Black Forest in Germany and the Vosges Mountains in France from the top there. So definitely a real highlight on our Swiss itineraries. As I mentioned then, from Interlaken, after your 2-night stay there, you will travel on a scheduled service through the Lochberg Mountains to reach the Glacier Express in Brig, and you'll travel on the Glacier Express from Brig to Chur. It's often named the slowest express train in the world. It reaches speeds of 24 miles an hour as it snakes through the most spectacular of scenery, from the deep valleys, the lush forest at the bottom, the peaceful alpine meadows, and depending on the time of year you do it, you know, they may be full of alpine flowers in May and June, they may be covered in snow, and as you reach the top and traveling over the glacier, you will be sometimes escorted by cross-country skiers either side of you on the top. It's a really, really incredible journey that I've been lucky enough to do a few times myself over the years, and highly, highly recommend it. Now, on board the Glacier Express, you have 3 classes of service to choose from. You have our standard class here. All of the trains were fully refurbished only a few years ago, so they are really comfortable on board, and you can see in standard class here, you've got windows from waist to ceiling and again above your head. So everybody has amazing views as you travel through Switzerland. But you can also upgrade if you wish for a little bit more comfort and a bit more of a treat to first class, where the seats have changed to 2 seats, an aisle and 1 seat, so you have a little bit more space. And also top of the range is the Glacier Express Excellence class, which was introduced a few years ago. Every seat a window seat, as you can see there. Really, really spacious, luxurious way to travel, and you get a 5-course meal included in the journey, as well as access to the Glacier Excellence bar at the back there, and a host to look after you throughout the journey too. So certainly worth considering if you're celebrating a special anniversary perhaps, or a birthday. On the Glacier Express, you'll reach Chur, and you're based there for 2 nights, the oldest town in Switzerland, in a really traditional style hotel there. And whilst there, you'll do your final scenic railway journey of this trip on the Bernina Express. Now, there's always much debate here at Railbookers about whether the Glacier Express or the Bernina Express is the more scenic. Good news on this trip, you don't have to choose. The Bernina Express itself, part of the route is UNESCO World Heritage protected, which gives you an idea of just how spectacular it is. And like the Glacier Express, perhaps even more so, the contrast of sceneries is immense, from the imposing glaciers, sheer rock gorges, far-reaching viaducts through the panoramic valleys. You know, there's a huge amount of varying scenery as you travel on the Bernina Express between St. Moritz and Tirano. This one of the views at the highest point, one of the highest points on the journey. And of course, you do cross the famous Landwasser Viaduct, probably one of the most photographed viaducts in the world, with the Bernina Express travelling over it. On board, you do have standard class and first class to choose from. First class, again, a little bit more spacious seating with an attentive host to look after you. But the staff on board in standard and in first are excellent, always ready to let you know when the next fantastic view is coming up, to get your cameras poised and at the ready. So that was Switzerland's lakes and mountains. Also wanted to add in the Scenic Switzerland holiday here that you see. So it's a slightly longer itinerary, 8 nights, 9 days, with a starting price of £2,299. This works more as a round trip. So you can see that this is based on travelling into Zurich and back to Zurich, adding in additional stays here in St. Moritz and Lucerne. So it starts with staying in St. Moritz for 2 nights. You'll travel then on the full length of the Bernina Express, this time between St. Moritz and Zermatt, after you've done a Bernina Express day trip as well. You will have a day trip on the Gornergrat whilst you're in Zermatt, and we'll look at these in a moment. And then you'll travel round to MONTREUX and do that Golden Pass line here again, travelling this time through Interlaken to Lucerne. And from Lucerne, you have 2 day trips. You'll travel back to do the JUNGFRAUJOCH Railway, and you'll also have a day trip to Mount Pilatus. So this is really combining more of those scenic journeys, but also more opportunities to reach the peaks in those destinations as well. So you'll start in St. Moritz, beautiful at any time of the year. Of course, it's kind of known as the home of alpine sports. So in the ski season, that's going to be full of skiers as well. But it's great in the summer too, and it has 2 lakes, one of which is dedicated to swimming in the summer. Lots of trails that you can do in the area around the lake, but also climbing up to some of the higher points around. So it's a great base to be in for a couple of nights. From there, you will travel on the Gornergrat Railway, which climbs up to 3,000 meters above sea level, and has some of the most spectacular vistas across the Matterhorn, as you see top left, but also any number of peaks in the wider area. When you're in Lausanne, you will also have 2 day trips, and the first of those is on the Mount Pilatus Railway, which involves traveling on the steepest cogway railway in the world. It's about a 30-minute ride up to the top there, and you have the most amazing views over Lake Lucerne and beyond. And at the top there, there's also the Pilatus Klum Hotel, which we can also add in a night's stay at if you wish. And you do also have a restaurant there, a cafe, to enjoy the views with some food, with a drink, and also some mountain trails of various abilities if you'd like to spend a little bit of time up at the top making the most of those views. As I mentioned, this one also does include that trip on the Jungfraujoch that we've already mentioned, just a slightly different view of the train coming back down the valley, so you can have another idea of some of that beautiful scenery that you'll experience. Now, to round off the presentation, I mentioned we were going to be looking at 3 holidays. The last one is combining those Glacier Express and Bernina Express journeys with the most famous train in the world, the Orient Express. And we have a number of holidays that include the Orient Express with a wider itinerary. So let me just talk you through this one. This is based on traveling to Venice on the Orient Express and traveling back through Switzerland to come home. You'll be traveling to Venice with a 3-night stay in Venice, then using the high-speed service across to Milan to reach Tirano. From Tirano, you'll do the Bernina Express one way up to St. Moritz. You'll be in St. Moritz for a 2-night stay before then doing the full length of the Glacier Express from St. Moritz through to Zermatt. Again, whilst in Zermatt, you do have the day trip on the Gornergrat that we looked at in the previous itinerary, and then you'll travel round to Zurich to travel home. You can also do it in the other order, so do traveling through Switzerland first to reach Venice, and then taking the Orient Express back to Paris, and then Eurostar back to London. As you might expect, huge demand for the Orient Express for 2023. So if you are looking to travel on the Orient Express, if you want to book it for a bucket list trip, special anniversary, holiday, birthday, then do get in touch as soon as possible to avoid disappointment, because it is incredibly popular at the moment. So on board, just to give you a little bit of an onboard tour, when you join the train in Paris, the cabins will be set out for daytime, so you'll have this banquette seating. You'll be shown to your cabin by your porter, who will look after you during the trip, and you'll have a little bit of time to relax in your cabin, a couple of hours before perhaps moving to the bar carriage for pre-dinner drinks, having dressed for dinner. This is the real social hub of the train, often referred to as the blue car as well, with the blue upholstery. So whether it's a pre-dinner drink, a cup of tea in the afternoon, a nightcap after dinner, there's very often live music playing, and as I say, really the social hub of the train there. There are 3 dining cars on board to choose from, and your steward will make reservations for you when you board the train, and can make recommendations on the different dining cars available. But as you might expect, as you would expect, world-class cuisine, spectacularly cooked given the confines of the onboard kitchen, and some world-class wines to go with it. So a really opulent dining experience on board some of those really historic carriages. And whilst you're enjoying your meal, your cabin will have been converted into the upper and lower berth sleeping options that you have here for a restful night's sleep. And then you'll be served breakfast in your cabin the following morning as you start to travel through the Alps and down towards Venice. Just a couple of things to add as well. There are newer cabins being added for 2023, including these side-by-side single bed options. So again, worth inquiring as soon as possible if those are of interest. And there are additional suite opportunities like the Grand Suite, for example, which has a full-size double bed. There are not many cabins in the world anymore on overnight journeys that have the full-size double bed, but the Grand Suite on board this is one of those. And again, they sell out very, very quickly. So if you are looking for a super special way to do the journey, then do get in touch. So as I say, on this particular way, you will reach Venice first before doing the Swiss element on the way home. Venice, of course, a city that doesn't need any introduction, but just worth pointing out here that alongside the sort of traditional sightseeing of Venice, the gondola journey, the visit to St. Mark's, we can incorporate lots of different sightseeing for you as well. So if you wanted to take a day trip to Burano and see the glass making, if you wanted to go behind the scenes at a gondola factory and see how those are made, if you'd like to do a private secret food tour perhaps and sample some delicious food traveling around Venice, then there are lots of opportunities to add those great experiences in. So do be sure to inquire about anything that interests you specifically. And then after your stay in Venice, as I mentioned, you'll travel up to St. Moritz, you'll take the Bernina Express up to there, and then you'll do the full length of the Glacier Express to reach Zermatt, beautiful resort town in the shadow of the Matterhorn there. You have a 2-night stay there. From there, you'll do the Gornergrat day trip, and then you'll travel back to Zurich for your return trip home, either by rail or by air. Now on the screen on your console as you're watching this, you should see a few links on the right hand side to our website. From there you can download our brochures. We have a huge range of brochures, the worldwide brochure featuring some of our most popular Swiss itineraries. As I say, you should also be able to see the Swiss rail map from there too. But do get in touch if you have any other questions or if you'd like us to help. You do have a questions box there, a chat box. Do feel free to put any questions you have in there. The team will answer that even though you're watching on demand. So should you like any more information on any of the specific itineraries, then do let us know. But otherwise, please do give us a call on 0203 780 2222 if you've liked any of the itineraries that you've seen, if you'd like to get more information, we are open Monday to Friday, 9 to 5:30. So we look forward to hearing from you. We look forward to seeing you on a future presentation. And in the meantime, enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.